PWAN Group, a real estate company, was accused of land fraud and selling receipts instead of actual land. Instead of these allegations triggering a public investigation, Scott was arrested. 3 days in police custody, 10 counts charges, all for raising his voice on Instagram. This is not just about Scott, it's about power, about the weaponization of defamation laws to silence activism, about police being more responsive to corrupt clouds than civic cries, about the growing fear that if you call out the system will come for you. We need laws that protect whistleblowers, not punish them. Institutions that investigate claims, not intimidate claimants. A judiciary that upholds justice, not hierarchy.
So, the behavior of the police is disgraceful in this context. And it is reflective of how the police has been weaponized against the indigents, against people, against citizens. I remember when we had this issue with Dele Farotimi, and I raised an issue about the fact that the police was using this cybercrime, act to go after him. And I said to them that, look, it is Dele today.
Tomorrow it could be you.
Tomorrow it could be you.
Yeah.
Because they use this criminal defamation statutes and all that to be able to weaponize it, to arrest people and prosecute them. In fact, not prosecute them, persecute them. Because that's what they're doing with Scott, all right? They're using that statute. Instead of going, if he truly defamed PWAN, go to the civil court.
Yeah.
Go to the civil court, file a defamation suit against him, and let him come to court to say he didn't, and then, prove yourself. But because the intention was not to, seek redress, the intention is to punish. He was denied even a bottle of water for almost 2 days. You will see how criminal and how criminally minded and how wicked the Nigerian police is. But you see, the thing is this. Those who want to hide under Cybercrime Act, the law, the police to perpetuate criminality, that is the P1 of the P-man of this world, they are bought market. Because this issue will not go away. We will keep talking about it. We'll keep drawing attention to it. And I said here on this table that I've not met one real estate person that is not somewhat fraudulent. And that's the reality. That's the fact. Everybody knows that.
By the end of the day, poverty has created a system where everybody is compromised. Everybody is compromised. And it all boils down to the fact that people are poor. And when there's a society exists where people cannot afford the basic needs, they start compromising their roles and responsibility towards society. And that's where the Nigerian police force comes into play. Like if you have a problem, like you don't go to police, you go to very dark man.
Yeah.
You go to Scott. Isn't that like, what do you think, what society, like what do you think that is? So the best way now, the only way now to hold people accountable is to bring them in front of the media, in front of the world to see that you are, that is where we find justice now.
The system is broken. The police is not your first resort when there is a conflict. It tells a lot about the so-called reform of the police in Nigeria and where the priorities of our lawmakers are. Because if citizens are wary of going to the police and would rather go to a fellow citizen for succor and for justice, it tells you that the justice system, there's a question mark on the entire justice system, the chain, even the judiciary is not absolved in this matter. So you see, it comes back to Nigeria being a connection state. It's about who you know. It's about, do you know who I am, number one? Do you know who I know, number two? So you can be a Nigerian, and because you're dealing with somebody who knows somebody in the right places, you will get a miscarriage of justice. And that's what's happening in what you're talking about. And we cannot continue like this.
This Scott Iguma versus PWAN case, it has become a Nigerian crisis. It is a Nigeria, what you want to describe as the Nigerian and the Scott Iguma versus PWAN case. a national crisis. You know, when Scott Iguma told the real estate company, when he said that this is not a trend, this is a movement, I don't think that these guys actually really understood the concept of it. I don't think that they really understood the ramification of those lines, those words as they came out of his mouth. That it wasn't a trend, it wasn't just looking for a trend, it's a movement. That's why I started by saying that the Nigerian the Nigeria and the Scott Iguma versus P1 case a national crisis. It's a national crisis because it shows to Nigerians and to the world the crisis within our system, where our system has become broken. Nigeria is now akin to a broken or failed state. That's why it's a crisis. So again, beyond just what you see on social media, Scott Iguma captured Nigeria as a case right now when he said this is not a trend. It is a movement. It is a movement to restructure Nigeria. It's a movement to, claim Nigeria back. It's a movement to reset the Nigerian system. Because if you take it from that angle of the real estate, Scott is doing one. If you take it the angle of social justice, VDM is doing one. Aisha Yesufu is speaking up. Mama P is speaking up. Dele Farotimi is speaking up. Nigerians are now coming out and speaking up and saying enough of the foolery that we've received from the hands of our government and especially the failure of the judiciary. This Kotiguma's case is a case that should have just ended in court. The defamation case, you go to a civil court and you resolve it. But the problem is when we tell Nigerians that they've weaponized poverty, that even the police have become a victim of the weaponization of poverty, you wouldn't understand. So they talk about how wicked the police has become. They become so wicked because when they come out to work, they need to go back to feed their family, and they will do everything possible to get that penny. Because what? Their lawmakers, their government have not made provisions for them on how to feed their home and how to feed their families. So it is not a trend, it is a movement. We started a long time ago when this happened to Dele Farotimi. When it happened to Dele Farotimi, I asked the question on this channel, who will be next? One, it was Dele Farotimi who will be next. I also asked the question when it happened to VDM. I said VDM yesterday, Dele Farotimi yesterday, who will be next? When the Natasha issue and Akpabio happened, we asked the question again, who will be next? Because now when Nigerians are speaking truth to power, you see where it started from. Now Natasha is in government and she's challenging the status quo. And guess what? The government is fighting back. That's what the guy said. That's what the lady said rather. When you speak truth to power, the power will come for you. So one time it was Dele Farotimi, the next time it was VDM, and after that is Natasha Akpoti. But remember, this same cybercrime act is what they've used to actually fight Omoyele and jailed him and seized his passport because he dared to criticize the the fact that we still have an IG, Inspector General Police, who's past his time, but only there to do the beating of Bola Tinubu up until 2027. After 2027, nobody they would let him go. So who's next? So if he's not Sowore, who speaks up? If it's not Dele Farotimi, who speaks up? If it's not VDM, who speaks up? If it's not um, Natasha Akpoti, who speaks up? Now it's Scott Iguma. So who's going to be next? That's why I ask. This is a national crisis. And that's why I said so. Who's going to be next? So this Scott Iguma's case is not going to go anywhere. That the man captured it very well when he said this. He said we'll keep talking about it because it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So again, like I said, Scott already told you guys, it is not a trend, it is a movement. We have talked about how we want Nigeria back because Nigeria should work for everyone. One of the biggest problems we've had to deal with in Nigeria is the failure of the judiciary because when the judiciary fails and law enforcement fails, there will be total breakdown in law and order. And because the people that are meant to enforce laws, the executive, they have become the most compromised, the most corrupt individuals. who have actually now helped to break the system so that they can perpetually stay in government and never be prosecuted. They've compromised the judiciary, they've compromised the police, and besides that, they use the same police that they've compromised and they constantly steal from to weaponize those same police against the people whenever the people speaks up. That's why when you speak up against the Inspector General of Police like Omoyele does, is hounded and the Cyber Act crime is used to lock him up and shut him up. So when I say this issue is a national crisis, Nigeria has come to a point where we have to pause and react ourselves and reassess ourselves and say, where are we going to? Nigeria, as I said before, has become akin to a failed state. It has failed in the protection of citizens. It has failed in the protection of its people, on lives and properties, and provision of basic facilities for the people. What you have right now is a complete breakdown in law and order, where the rich can weaponize the police against the poor because the poor are there to speak up against the wealthy. Nigeria has become a classist system where when you speak up, somebody tells you, do you know who I am? Do you know who my father is? That's why when the rich and the poor are arrested, the rich can run away, the poor is locked up. The rich can buy justice, the poor will face through the wrath of the law, even when the poor is right and in the right. So again, Nigeria is akin to a failed state. When we have government who have now weaponized poverty against the people from which they've been stealing from, it's become a national crisis. So again, I ask you, yesterday was Dele Farotimi, yesterday was VDM, yesterday was Natasha, and before that it was Sowore, and many other Nigerians that we cannot mention. Who is going to be next after Scott Iguma? Because this trend that they think is a trend and just social media is not a trend, it's a movement for a better Nigeria. So, what do you think about it? What is your say? Can we fix this nation and turn it in the right direction? Do we have the right people at the helms of affairs to turn the country around and sail in the right direction where it can be prosperity for the entire Nigeria, not for only selected few who can steal from government? Put your comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think about this case. And don't forget to like, share, and also subscribe if you've not done so. Remember to recommend this channel to others. I will catch you up in the next video. Bye-bye for now.